Mr. Bush, we'll start with you. 1 minute to introduce yourself, and we are going to be sharing mics, and then we'll go to James.
All right, everyone. My name is Alan Bush, and I'm currently the chairman of the Washington County Board of County Commissioners. I once again would like to ask for your support as I'm seeking re-election. I believe we've had a wonderful 4 years. We have paid off quite a bit of the debt. When I came in, we had over $10 million worth of long-term debt. Now we're just over about $5.5 million, and that's done in 4 years. Some of that long-term debt had been carried since 1992. So I think we've made great strides in that effort. As you know, we were able to acquire, once we were forced to close our courthouse down, we were able to acquire $9.2 million from the state to build a new courthouse, which is unprecedented. What people don't realize is the state doesn't fund county courthouses. The state funds state courthouses and appellate courthouses. So for us to have done that, much less the short period of time, if everything goes on schedule, which that courthouse is being completed ahead of schedule right now. Oh, I'm sorry. We will have done that within the 4 years.
Thank you, sir. James?
Hi, my name is James McCall. First, I would like to tell you, for a good, strong man, you always got to have a strong backbone. And I'd like to introduce my wife. Eva, would you stand up? She's been with me for over 40 years, so she is the most valuable thing I have in my life. And she is my support, my backbone. Saying that, I'm retired from the military. I have over 30-some years of service. I have been in leadership positions before. I had bullets thrown at me and all that stuff. But my goal for Washington County is I'll be a full-time commissioner, and I'll work with you as much as I possibly can. And I want to work on job growth, work in the community, and just be one as Washington County. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Hopkins.
Hello, I'm Trey Hawkins, running for your District 3 County Commissioner. I'm with John Hawkins Telecom in Vernon, Florida. We employ 30 local employees. Now, I'm really looking forward to bringing that sort of business experience to the board, where we can move forward in a camaraderie, that we can get along with one another, and we can make the county move into a prosperous future. We also, I would like to see job growth, and I have a plan laid out. We got a minute. There's no way I could go through my entire plan in this minute time, but I'd love to talk to each and every one of you after I'll give my cell phone number out. I'd love to come and meet with you at your houses and meet with you in groups. But I have a plan. I've been in city politics before. I understand the role of the city government, the county government, and I really think that we don't have time in this county to get someone's feet
10 seconds.
Feet back underneath them. We need to get up and get going right away. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fisher.
My name is William E. Fisher Jr. Friends call me Bill, and I hope you do too. I've been in and out of Washington County most of my life. I've been in politics. I'm a former U.S. congressional candidate for Congress and the U.S. Senate a few years back. I'm a self-employed businessman. I'm an entrepreneur, and I know how times are tough, and I know how everybody is struggling. And I too also want to try to get more industry into Washington County. We've got a lot of resources here. We can bring maybe more people in on our tourism. We have to do this ourselves. We're not going to be able to stand around and wait for the government to do anything for us. Well, we've already had enough of what they haven't done. So we need to do a lot of this stuff ourselves. It's going to be a full-time job for me. Even though I'm an environmental consultant, I still do litigation support, but I'm going to have more than enough time to take care of my needs here for our folks in Washington County. This is my home. I love this place, and I just want to make it better. I remember what Washington County used to be back in the old days when every store in town was full. Thank you.
Ms. Veronica?
Good evening. I'm Veronica Jones, voteveronica.com. I'm not a politician, don't intend to be. That's not what you guys are looking for. It's not what I'm looking for. I'm a down-to-earth person. I'm a mother. I'm a widow. We've been here 21 years. I have a worldwide drilling magazine, albeit in Bonifay. It employs 8 people. It's over $1.1 million gross revenue each year. I began it in 2003 with the help of my former employer and partner. rest his soul, Doc Faison from Vernon. It's still going. It's been making its way through Obama and everything else. And the way I vision Washington County's growth going is the people here need to be treated like people and not just numbers. And I look forward to working with you. If you choose somebody else, I certainly appreciate your vote anyway. Thank you.
Ms. Gothard?
I'm Lynn Gothard, local girl, born and raised in Washington County. Have a large extended family here. My parents both lived here, had 3 children, they all live here, and 7 grandchildren. And so I'm invested in our county, and I really want to make our county better. As Alan kind of alluded to, we've made some hard decisions over the past 4 years, but we have really changed how our county looks financially and in a lot of different ways. One of the things I want to stress is that I think that over the next 4 years, we need to continue to work on our financial situation in the county. We've been in bad financial times in our county, I believe, because of some bad financial decisions. We've got to stop doing that. And so I would appreciate your vote. I'm here for the long term, not going anywhere. And I would appreciate your vote for re-election.
Mr. Jones?
That's Ron, thank you. I'm Ron Jones. I've been married to Janet Jones for 50 years. I'm retired from the broadcast and film industry for 50 years. I worked in that. I'm currently owner and operator of Florida Legal Videos. And I just feel like this county is not moving anywhere. It needs some economic growth, and there's a lot of things that can make that happen. And that's what I intend to do. The taxpayers of this county have been held hostage for far too long. They don't get what they deserve, and I intend to make a change in that.
Thank you, sir. And Mr. Joyner?
I'm Steve Joyner. I'm a native of Washington County, lived all my life. I've owned a business here for 32 years. I spent 2 years as a interim county manager here, and in 2010 this county had a terrible deficit of $1.8 million, and we had to get in there and pull the constitutional officers together. The commission at that time come together, we unified everybody, we got that deficit worked out, we still operated the county. The second year, in 2011, we had another $750,000 deficit, and it was some tough times, really tough times. And there has been a lot of bad financial situations in the past that the county's had to step up and make some decisions that wasn't popular with the people. But to make this county stronger, it needs to be financially stronger first. And once we do that, then we can bring more jobs and more industry to this county. And I appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Joyner. We're going to now start a round of questions. We learned in the past that when we had a line of candidates and we asked one question and subsequently allowed each successive candidate to answer the same question, it got pretty repetitive and people's eyes glassed over pretty quickly. With only 3 candidates 2 weeks ago, the sheriff's race was a little bit different, but we feel in this case that we simply can't do that. So we're going to ask each candidate a different question. We've got a pile of questions. Response via email was really strong. We got a bunch here tonight. So we're going to ask each candidate a different question. As I pointed out earlier, if you, for instance, when I asked Mr. Bush the first question, when I come to you, Mr. McCall, and I ask you a different question, if you'd like to address the question we asked him, it doesn't matter how you use that 1 minute that you've got coming to you. So is everybody good with that? Also, how is volume? Can you hear all the candidates? Yes, no, maybe, not really here tonight. No, Ms. Foster, you can't hear him? Anybody else not be able to hear him? That might be an isolated instance right there.
Hello, hello, can you hear this okay?
Yeah, that's close. I heard you, Ron, but I couldn't hear me.
Okay, we'll ask the candidates to put the microphone relatively close to their, you probably want Ms. Foster to be able to hear what you have to say so she doesn't misquote you in the newspaper. Okay, first question is, Mr. Bush, do you have any specific programs in mind to make Washington County a better place to live? And please be specific. This one was submitted by an attendee here tonight.
Well, we've got several programs in place. We have a pretty good recreational department. At this time, we've got 3 boat landings that are currently being improved, some with boardwalks, and one with just some environmental lock. It's kind of like a banking shore. At the same time, we've committed over the past year $1.2 million toward economic development to take place over the next 20 years. And that the other thing that we've been working towards, quality of life is different to different people. Some people quality of life is recreation, some people quality of life is work. So this is a difficult kind of open-ended question. Time? 10. Oh. But those are a couple of the programs we've got that hopefully will improve the quality of life in Washington County.
Thank you, sir. Mr. McComb, why are you running for this office of County Commissioner?
I'm running for County Commission because I think I can do an outstanding job, and I have the experience from the military side dealing with the government, and I think I bring something new to the table. And one of the things is I would like to see more help at the schools. For one instance, is the officers that we have for the safety of our kids. And if we don't do that, we will have problems. We need to make available, if we can, the support for the officers at the schools that don't have them. Some of them are short, but we need to make a plan or something to put in place that we have full-time officers at all schools, if possible. The other thing is, we need to work in the community. As a community, we got to work as pulling ourselves up. We can't just wait on someone else to come do it for us. And that's one of the things I'd like to do as a county commissioner.
Thank you. Ms. Foster, could you hear him?
Yeah.
These microphones are very directional, so if you speak across the top of them, you're probably not going to be well heard. If you'll speak right into them, it'll help. Mr. Hawkins, what is the role? What is the role and job description of a county commissioner in Washington County?
The role of a county commissioner in Washington County, just like every other county, is to strictly a policy and procedure setting board. We also put forth a great financial tool as the budget for our employees so they can feel confident in their job and confident that we can provide them the correct material, correct equipment, they can do their jobs. The county commissioner is not an everyday operations commission where we're out directing directing the employees. That's where it becomes convoluted whenever you have supervisors that's giving them specific tasks, and then the commissioner goes out and directs the employee in a different way. That is one of the most important things that this commission's got to move out of, where we're getting ourselves out of the everyday role of directing employees, so we become a more productive, more financially secure county. And our employees deserve to know who and where they should report to. So and like I said, that will build the employees from within.
Thank you. Next is Mr. Fisher. One thing I want to point out is that as last time, we are discarding some questions because they are either targeted toward someone who is an incumbent, in which case anyone who's not an incumbent could not fairly answer those questions, or any that are outwardly mean-spirited. We don't have any of those tonight, thankfully, but last time we did, so we did not ask those. But Mr. Fisher, you're next. What single qualification sets you apart from the other candidates in your race?
Got a lifelong experience in business, similar to Trump. I've had to come up the hard way. Everything that I've got, everything that I own, I've had to work for it. One of the things that you learn in life, if you go to the University of Hard Knocks, it's the best education you're ever going to get, period. I'm a former regional branch manager for the world's largest company, which was General Electric Modular Space Division out of Mobile. I work with many government agencies right now, and also the state of Florida. I've got members of the association that I've built from scratch in 6 different countries, and members all over the United States. When things need to get done, I know how to push the buttons and make things happen. And that's what I want to bring to Washington County as your District 3 Commissioner.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Jones, what are your plans to balance the Washington County budget?
Well, of course I get that one, right? Okay. To balance the budget for Washington County, first of all, since I don't own it, but I'm the majority stockholder of Worldwide Drilling Resource over in Bonifay, every single day you have to look at the dollars. I look every single day because every single cent that is spent through that small company may or may not lose a job for an employee there. So, number one, you have to watch the dollars. And I know that I don't have a clue about what it is that is spent on. I've looked at last year's itemization of money spent. It doesn't give you a real clear what was spent for what, why, and where. I know there's been money not spent in the right direction, but I think you need to look at the whole thing and determine that table over there needs 20,000, that one needs 40,000, that one needs 50,000, this one needs 112,000. You have to decide what's important, and that's what I want to do for it. Look at it close.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Gothard, nobody wants more taxes or the elimination of county jobs. However, these are two of the fastest ways to increase available revenue. What are your ideas to increase available funding?
Well, I'm not so certainly we need to increase the available funding as far as the budget is concerned. Really, the only way to increase the budget funding is through ad valorem taxes, and nobody wants to do that. One of the things we've looked at for the past 4 years that I've been a commissioner is we've not increased the millage. And yet, last year, for the first time in 7 or 8 years, we were able to give our employees a 3% raise across the board. And we increased some of the others through a salary study that we got to see how our employees in this county related to other counties of the same demographics as ours in salary, and we began to make some adjustments for those employees. So other than grants, legislative appropriations, the only way to increase the spending or the revenue for the county is through ad valorem taxes, and we're almost as high as we can go for a county. 10 is a cap on a county, and so I don't think we need so much as to increase revenues, that we need to spend what we've got wisely. And if we do that, I think we can make it work.
Mr. Jones, and I'm going to paraphrase this. This was actually submitted in a couple of different ways. Not all schools in Washington County have school resource officers on their respective campus. Is there anything you as a county commissioner can do to change this?
Absolutely. I will see and make funding and provide for school resource officers in all of our schools. We need them. And with things the way they are today, as you well know, you hear about it every day on TV, we've got to have more protection for those kids, you know. And I'm in favor of, you've been hearing a lot of things in the last couple of days about carry and teachers carrying, you know, the no carry zone. I'm all in favor of if we need it to let teachers carry, if they need to do that. And if it gets to be a situation where it's going to be the protection of our kids, absolutely. We need resource officers in every school in this county.
Thank you, sir. Where we at? Mr. Joyner. There has been arguably no appreciable economic development in Washington County for the past 10 years. What can you as a county commissioner do to help this situation?
I think we need to make Washington County more attractive to businesses. We need to make it financially sound and make it just financially stronger so that we can help businesses come here. You know, when businesses get out and go to looking at counties where they want to go, they want to see a sound county. They want to invest in a sound county. And we need to work towards making this county more financially stronger, and that's the way we should do it. If we get our finances in a row in this county and get it stable, then you'll see businesses want to come to this county.
Thank you, sir. That concludes our first round of questions. Our next round starts with Mr. McCall. James, what can or will you do to improve teamwork on the Board of County Commissioners?
Well, I'm willing to work with anyone that's doing anything positive for Washington County. I don't have my own personal agenda. I'm for Washington County as a whole. And one thing, as I said before, it's not about being Chipley only, it's about Washington County. And if you elect me as your county commissioner, I'm willing to work with anyone on that board. And another question that I'd like to address, one that we asked earlier, was about the resource officers. Before we started giving everybody license to carry guns, let's give the police department, sheriff department, the funding they need to do a job of taking care of our kids. And that's let them have the officers on the schools. If they need a substation, if we can afford it, let them have it. Before we go around and letting everybody else carry a gun, I don't think that's where we need to be at right now.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Hawkins, sort of an extension of that same question, I beg your pardon, of the one before it. How can we improve our working economic development relationship with surrounding counties?
First of all, let them know that we're open for business. Right now, the city of Chipwood is in the process of putting utilities to the south side of the interstate, and that's something that's very, very important to the financial growth of the county. With that being said, I believe the county could get more involved with the city in the process by simply how the grants work. The grants work that the City of Eugene grant or the FERDAP grant, whichever one the city of Chipwood is using, it works with an in-kind match. And the county has the equipment, the dirt, and the manpower to use some of their equipment, some of their manpower to match the grant. It will not cost the city of Chipwood a dime if we get in partnership with them and streamline the process to get utilities to the south side of the interstate. And once the other counties in the area see that we're serious about growth, the partnership will form itself. But we definitely got to let them know that Washington County is open for business and ready to go to work.
Thank you, Mr. Fisher. Washington County, not unlike surrounding counties, struggles to keep good personnel, especially in the sheriff's office, because of budgetary restrictions. Recently, the sheriff's office lost a good many of their dispatchers due to openings at the Department of Transportation. What can you as a county commissioner do, if anything, to help change that?
Thank you for that question. That is a tough question, and we're going to have to belly up to the bar, so to speak, and we're going to have to dig into our pockets and get these folks the money that they need to protect us, protect our children. It's a tough world out there, and we can't afford to waste anymore. And if we can streamline our services, and I'm not talking about eliminating people, I'm talking about streamlining them, we can do everything. We can think outside the box to save money in this county. We've got several restaurants in this county. We can use that grease that they produce for biodiesel for our school buses. We might be able to pull in some solar to help cut down our utility bills for our county government. There's a lot of things that we can do, and it's one of the things I specialize in, is coming up with hard, good solid results for hard, complex problems. I've been doing that for many years, and I would love to do it here for you in Washington County.
One thing I didn't announce was a $5 penalty if your cell phone should go off in the course of this meeting, so I will be giving my wife that $5. I'll have to borrow it from her in order to get it, but I will pay. Ms. Jones, do you feel that the phrase, "the needs of many outweigh the needs of the few," reflect your plans for the county? If yes, how so?
Okay, recently I was listening to another candidate on my computer at campaign headquarters, and there was no compromise. Absolutely wouldn't compromise. And I listened to that, and I said, first of all, if you have the needs of many, and you have the needs of the few, what are the needs of those few, and why don't they have the same needs as the many? That makes an imbalance, and that's not fair to anybody in this county. Everybody should have the same opportunities. I don't care what color you are. I don't care where you came from. I'm from New Jersey. I've been here 21 years. I moved to Florida in 1969. My office is interracial office. It's worldwide office. I have a German working there. I have a black lady working there. I have white people. I have
10 seconds.
People with money, people with no money, welfare people. It's got to be fair for everybody, and that's what this county needs. They got to figure out how to do it, and I intend to help if I'm allowed to.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Stothard, Washington County has a brand new $9.2 million courthouse facility. What's the next capital improvement needed in Washington County?
Well, I think certainly that the Ag Center is probably going to be our main focus for the next 4 years. It's a building that's just deteriorating quickly. We have been monitoring, the county's been monitoring it for several years, and it's just going down, down, down. And so we did apply for a grant this time through Representative Drake for $700,000. We only got funded for $300,000. But our plan is to earmark those funds and set them aside and then go back next year and ask for $300,000 or the $700,000 again. We think that we'll need about $1 million to start, is what we've been told. But I think we can build a much more efficient building there, something that will better meet the needs of the people. I think someone had told us that building was built around 1950s or something. Things have come a long way since then, and so I think we can build a much better building, much more efficient, for much less money.
10 seconds.
I'm totally against taking that money and trying to put a Band-Aid on that building. $300,000 will not hardly touch it. So I think that's probably going to be our next biggest capital improvement for the county.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Jones, county commissioners are sometimes faulted and sometimes praised for taking a day-to-day role in the operation of the county government. When commissioner, what do you see as your role?
Again, my role is going to be to help the taxpayers of this county, who, as I say again, have been held hostage for too long. That's going to be my role, to take care of the taxpayers that pay for me sitting on that board up there. And I want to go back just a second. Mr. McCall didn't like my comment about open carry in schools and in the classrooms. And I want to clarify what I was talking about. Now, I do want to have school resource officers in every school, and I'll work toward that with the county and with the city. The open carry for teachers is only if it would be available, if they want to do it. If they elect to do that, that they would have the opportunity to do that, working in conjunction with the sheriff's department and the police department. And I also want to mention on the Ag Center, I hope that would include a building big enough to provide a large enough civic center so that we could have a place for events that we desperately need in this county.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Joyner, what is the single most compelling issue facing Washington County today?
It's hard to pick just one issue. I think one of the biggest things we've got looking down the road at us is deteriorating roads in this county. Your gas tax money that we receive needs to be earmarked for striping, repaving, and we need to rely on that money rather than seeking out grants to do this repaving and restriping road work that we're getting gas tax money for. So that's one of the major issues I can see in the next few years. We've got a lot of deteriorating roads. It's going to be something we're going to have to deal with. Of course, jobs. I'd like to see more jobs brought to this county. You know, if it's 1, 2, or 3, it's very important. We just need to capture every job that we can get and retain the jobs that we have in this county. We need to look out after the businesses that are here and look out after them.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Bush, you'll have the final question in the second round. What are your plans to grow Washington County economically?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, we have committed $1.92 million toward economic growth. At the same time, we're going back. The property that's out, what used to be the old beef unit behind the DOT, we're currently in negotiations to buy that back. One of the things we did that I thought was a good success is when that Project Pike failed, we were committed contractually with that group in a very, very poor contract. I mean, it was very, very poorly written, that we would buy that property back at the price they paid plus any improvements they made. And it's really, it's hard to disprove what they spent. So we're struggling trying to come up with money to buy that back. But the one thing that was a success was Department of Economic Opportunity.
10 seconds.
We went and negotiated with them to where it was a $400,000 loan that was given to us. We negotiated them down to $200,000 and we'll have that paid off next year.
Time.
Thank you, sir. All right, this starts a new round, so Mr. Hawkins will actually go first on this one. submitted by the audience. What would you say your passion project for the county is?
There's many passion projects once you put that name on your shirt that you're going to run for county commissioner, and there's nothing more important to me than the children of the county. To revert to Alan's first question about the programs that we have in place and what I'd like to see, what other programs I'd like to see put into to place. Not necessarily any programs, but I definitely would love to see the county get more involved with the programs that's already in place. Each city and municipality has a rec program that is funded solely by each city or municipality. At this time, there's no skin in the game from the county. Before, there was always money's put into each budget to fund the programs for the children, and the children, without question, are our future. So I'd definitely love to see us get more involved with the county, with the municipalities, and fund these programs correctly, so that each child would have a place to participate. Right now, at each municipality, about 17% of the children that play in that rec program are actually from that municipality. So I'd definitely love to see the county get more involved with that.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Fisher, what department in the county needs the most work and why?
Wow, that's a great question. They're all going to need work. We're going to have to streamline. We're going to have to check everything. We're going to have to cross all the T's and dots the I's. One of the things that I did when I went with GE, they used to be the #1 branch in the United States. When I started with them, they were down to the bottom of the deck. I brought them up within 6 months to being the second. And that was a lot of hard work. And that's what we're going to have to do here. We're going to have to really dig into what we've got coming in and what we've got going out. And unless we can control that, we're never going to get it straightened out. And I'm willing to do that and fight to do that. Going back to the question regarding the school children, I would like to see a little program where we have a representative from the different departments come in and meet with the children, and we could call it Career Day. And that way we can start getting those children a little bit more information on what it's like to be a fireman or a policeman or a sheriff deputy or a school teacher. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Jones, what single qualification sets you apart from the other candidates in this race?
Okay, first of all, before I answer that question, I want to take a minute and commend all the commissioners. I know they have a hard job that they're trying to do, and they're doing the very best they can, and I appreciate them working so very diligently, each and every one of them. I look forward to working with them. And what sets me apart probably is because I don't even belong up here at this table. I am not a politician. If I'm not answering the questions the way you want to hear me answer them, voteveronica.com. Send me an email, call me, 850-258-2860. I will be more than happy to answer the questions. There are questionnaires on each of those tables. We need input from you. If I don't get to be your commissioner, that's fine. You have a choice to make. That information will help whoever gets to be a
10
commissioner.
seconds.
I feel I'm very suited. I have a law office background. I have started businesses. I'm helping my son start Teddy Bear Timber Company right there on Highway 277.
Time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Gothard, a question that was asked in the past. Not all schools in Washington County have school resource officers on their respective campus. Is there anything that you as a county commissioner can do to help change this?
I think that the thing that we would be able to do would be to work with the sheriff and see if we can work that into the budget, the budgetary restraints that they have. And I want to say, as far as the deputies, I totally agree that we have deputies, dispatchers leaving every day. And one of the things I'm looking forward to with the new sheriff is a sheriff that's going to come and be interactive with the commission, not just come and put their budget on the table and say, this is what I want and I just need it, don't ask me any questions. I've spoken to each of the candidates and said, one of the things I'm looking forward to is you coming to the commission, let's having a dialogue, a relationship, talk to us about what you need and why you need it. And I think we're all reasonable people and we can do that. And so I think through the budget process, learning what they need, why they need it, how we can make it work is one of the best ways that we could work to help them put those school resource officers in the schools.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Jones, what one thing would you do to include the people of the county in county government?
Well, there's more than one thing. I would do a lot of things to include the people of this county as tax-paying citizens. And I would implement some programs where we would have to be able to sit down and this discussion with these people and have some committees to find out exactly what their problems are, what they need in this county. And like I said, there again, I don't think they're getting what they pay for, and I intend to make that happen. And I want to go back to a couple of other things. On the economic growth, the question that was asked, what can we do to further the economic growth? And what I'm going to say may not please some of you, and it may please some others. But as you know, this county is not, it's not a dry county, it's partially wet because they sell beer and they sell 6% alcohol.
10 seconds.
They do not allow it in hotels and things like that. But this county is never going to grow economically until we get the alcohol passed in this county so that businesses and companies that are related to this, such as Olive Garden and places like that, will employ people and make this county grow.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Joyner, arguably, employee morale is poor in Washington County. What are your plans to build the morale of county employees?
The employees in this county have had some very tough times. As I said, back during 2010, we had $1.8 million deficit. We had to ask people to do more, step up to the plate. And believe me, they did. We have some good employees in this county, and I can attest to every one of them. We asked for them to help us work through that deficit, and they did. They did more. We had a few jobs that we had lost, and people had to cover for other people and do more. And, you know, there for a while, we couldn't even have a custodian in the annex. I was mopping floors and toting my own garbage out. It was really tough.
10 seconds.
We tried to save every job we could. And until we make this county financially stable and invest more in our employees and continually support them,
Time.
we're not going to be able to help that morale problem.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Bush, what would you say your passion project for the county is?
I guess the one thing, if I had to identify something I'm very passionate about, and you've heard me reference it a couple times, is paying off the debt. You know, I hear so many times about the monies that the county needs. When you think about those times when the county was booming, when real estate was really up and there was excess funds, they paid none of the debt off. Instead, they decided they'd pay $40,000 a month just on interest. We're currently paying about $12,000 a month on interest on our largest loan. But if we had those monies, I mean, that's every month as a school resource officer, basically, when we're paying $40,000 a month. So I guess my biggest thing, just like in my personal life, you know, or anybody's personal life, it's hard to ever get ahead if you've got a mountain of debt behind you. Once you get that debt behind you and you can start saving a little money, then you can start seeing things, some positive growth. But that's one of the things. The other thing, I'm going to do this real quick. On my other question about economic growth, we have overlays for our future land use maps where we can identify commercial parcels without truly making them commercial.
Time.
And that gives us the ability to move more quickly whenever we have industry or some type of commercial project.
Thank you, sir. Mr. McCall, do you have any specific programs in mind to make Washington County a better place to live? And this writer asked to be specific.
Oh, I got some ideas. One of them I would like to know, I don't have the answer to it, what's the game plan for the 4-lane highways that we got coming through Washington County? What's going to be our catch to get that money that's passing us going to Bay County? What are we going to do to make it come here to Washington County? That's something I want to look at. And I want to make sure that we are doing everything we can to help those people that's working for Washington County and not playing with their money. One thing you don't want to do is play with people's money, especially when they got to pay for their family and their lifestyle. We don't need to be in that situation. But we really need to look at those 2 4 lanes we got coming through. We're gonna have more traffic coming through Washington County than I-10 after a while. And I mean, there's no reason why we can't have something here in Washington County that we can grow from.
10 seconds.
So with that, I mean, that's basically it. That's my pet peeve.
And that wraps up our third round. Mr. Fisher, you'll go first on this. Why are you running for the office of County Commissioner?
I built up a lifelong experience in many different places over many different subjects. I believe that I can contribute to this county and make it what it used to be and more. I can remember this county when there was jobs for everybody. All these stores were busy. The roads were full of traffic. But we've been robbed. We've been robbed by the Chinese and the Malaysians and the folks over in India. They've got all of our jobs. Our government has let it slip away. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fight like a mad dog to try to get these jobs back here. It can't happen overnight. But we got to start somewhere, and I want to start right here. It's been too long, and everybody has went without for too long. And the only way we're going to be able to do it is to fight for it. We've got surrounding counties, we've got other countries we have to deal with. And we're going to have to do it ourselves. We are the cavalry coming over the hill. It's not going to be Uncle Sam from Washington, D.C., only us from Washington County. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Jones, what plans have you already made to make yourself available to the citizens of Washington County?
Boy, that's right on. I began the company Worldwide Drilling Resource in 2003. Since that period of time, I have this many people gone, I have this many people still there, okay? Those 9 people operate that entire company now without me having to even be there. I have dedicated myself to making sure that it is cross-trained until they didn't need me. I have a phone at my house that connects to that office. It's an internet phone. So if I want to work from the house, I can work from the house. They call my cell phone. If they have a problem, they text me, they email, they call me. I've flown all over the world, and they still manage to make that office run. So I know what that is. I have planned ahead for that. I'll get another chance to answer the other question that I had written down here. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Gothard, what is the single most compelling issue facing Washington County today?
I think for certainly it's jobs, and I want to say something about economic development. I think in the past, with our county commission, economic development has just been a word that's just kind of tossed around, not anything done about it. But last year, we started working with the Economic Development Council to strategically look at our county and what it's going to take to bring businesses here. Probably the first time ever. We met over around 6 meetings. There was all kind of people there, schools, police, community leaders, people from other counties that came. And what we did is we spent time in those meetings and we strategically looked at what do we have, what do we need, what's it going to take to bring a business here. And we looked at the leads that we've gotten so far of companies that have called the county and said, we're interested in your county. And we looked at what they were telling us they were needing. The thing that almost every time they tell us is that they need a shovel-ready site. A shovel-ready site is a site that's already got the infrastructure in it, that they can just basically either come build there, or some companies want a building already built there where they can quickly come into the county when they want to locate their business here. And so we are looking, we have been working for over a year now.
Thank you, ma'am. You did say time, right? Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. But maybe not. I'm going to paraphrase this one because it's been submitted in several different ways. Whose turn, Mr. Jones? Yes. Roughly only about 1/3 of the people in Washington County, not unlike our neighboring counties, pay ad valorem tax. Recently, a half-cent sales tax effort on behalf of the school board to help fund some of the projects that have to do with connectivity was defeated. What are your thoughts in increasing revenues to be able to afford these sorts of projects, bearing in mind that obviously that's a school district project, but it still affects the county as a whole?
Well, this goes back to what I said a while ago about the alcohol sales. That's one way of taxing alcohol, that you can put money in place for these projects. And you look at the counties around us, which you spoke of, Jackson County, Holmes County, Bay County, the beaches. You look at them and ask yourself, what do they have in common? And they all sell alcohol, and that's why they are growing like they are. And I hate to keep harping on this, but that's going to be the future of this county, is to get businesses and industry in here that can that relate benefits from that, and there in turn they'll get employees in here, and that's what's going to make this grow. I want to speak real quick on my passion project, and
10 seconds.
okay, I may have to come back to this because I got something I want to do, but my passion project, one of them is the roads in this county. The taxpayers that pay taxes in this county and do not get what they are paying taxes for with these roads. You ride these roads and look at them, and
thank you, sir.
You'll see.
Mr. Joyner, how can we improve our working economic development relationship with surrounding counties?
We need to be open to the other counties surrounding us, to see if we can come together as a team if we have to bring more economic development to this area. It may not be this county that it needs to come to. If we get the opportunity for something in Jackson County, Holmes County, one of these neighboring counties, that we can help with that and supply jobs for this area, it would certainly help the entire area, including our county. And we just need to be open-minded to anything that comes available. This, the economic situation that the government's in now, we've just got to be very careful as to what we do try to seek and pull in here. But we need to, seize every opportunity we can to help our neighboring counties and help us.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Bush, do you feel that the phrase, "the needs of many outweigh the needs of few," reflect your plans for the county? If yes, how so?
I'd rather have Steve's question. I'm not even sure what that would mean. The needs of many outweigh the needs of few.
I tell you what, we'll go outside the script a little bit. I'll allow whoever submitted that question to explain what they meant by that, if they want to.
I think in Star Trek 4.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to fess up to being the one.
Yeah.
I have to stand on the question though, because we've asked it of another candidate. Let me ask you again. Do you feel that the phrase, "the needs of many outweigh the needs of the few," reflect your plans for the county? If so, if yes, how so?
No, I wouldn't say that. I would, and this has been proven by a lot of my actions. My actions have always been for the county, even though a lot of times they weren't necessarily what would benefit me or what would benefit the groups that I deal with. I still chose the needs of the county over that. And now that I've got done with that, I'm going to use my few seconds left to go back to the economic growth question. I can talk about this one for a long time. Another thing we did about economic growth in Washington County, we've entered into an interlocal agreement with the city of Bonifay and Holmes County to where when the four-lane project below I-10 is finished, that corridor from 280 north, we've entered into it to where we could all three apply together for grants to run water south of the interstate there as well, before we could possibly have some commercial growth there. But that goes out to the regional and other counties working with them. We call it co-opetition.
Thank you, sir. Mr. McCall, what are your plans to grow Washington County economically?
Economically, the growth of Washington County is, I would like to see more businesses on like I said, those four lanes coming in here. I'd like to see something put down there where we can get job growth in those areas, i.e. Down in Ebro. I mean, you got a four lane coming through there. There's no big hotel there. I mean, That's jobs right there. And the other thing is, what Adam was talking about in the Holmes County and Washington County, that line over there, I want to know why we are not maintaining that line on this side. From my understanding, Holmes County will maintain that line with their people. That's jobs we losing.
The water line?
Yeah.
We're going to give you guys a chance at the end to be able to address one another, so for now, let's stay on task. Are you done, sir?
Yes, I'm done.
Thank you. And Mr. Hawkins, you'll round out this round of questions. What one thing would you do to include the people of the county in county government?
First and foremost, one of the most important things is for the people to be knowledgeable of the county's actions as a county commissioner. I would love to see an open forum where we give the people more time to interject in our workshops, not necessarily in our meetings. We're there to conduct business, but make our workshops more people friendly, where when we get to the business meeting, we can conduct it into a relatively orderly manner. One of the biggest things I'd love to see the county do is to use the FM station here at Votech to put it over the airwaves. So if you don't have time to come to the meeting, you can listen to it on the radio station. So you can stay informed. You don't have to rely on just the media to cover the bits and pieces they can put together into an article, which I'm not saying they don't do a great job, but there's just limited space. So I think an informed constituent is a powerful piece of this puzzle to fix Washington County, to get it back moving into a correct and orderly manner.
Thank you, sir. Just for clarification, it's not an FM station, it's only online at this time. The Florida Panhandle Technical College does offer over 40-degree certification programs. Thank you very much. All right, that concluded that round. Veronica, you will be first in this next round. Washington County has a new $9.2 million courthouse facility. What's the next capital improvement needed in Washington County?
Well, I know for a fact, like Lynn said, and I was present at their workshop and several meetings over the past month. It's kind of like on-the-job training, as my campaign manager tells me. At any rate, the Ag Center is in desperate need. The desperate need goes far above the building, though. The desperate need is, where do you put a new one? You can't just walk away from that one, because what do you do in the interim? And it's going to take a while to get it started. It's going to take a while to build it. So where would it go? That was posed to me by the county attorney as I was sitting at the workshop. Where would it go? Well, I hope to heck it wouldn't go out with the horse pavilion thing that is not being used anymore, and it's padlocked and everything else. It's a beautiful place, but that's way too far out. So the question is, where would it go?
10 seconds.
Do we have any land for that? Can we trade people land for that? Give them tax-free something to get the land? That would be a major project I think is in dire need.
Time.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Gothard, what can or will you do to improve teamwork on the Board of County Commissioners?
Well, I think being open to hearing other ideas. I was posed the question when I did my interview that there seems to be confusion on the Board of County Commissioners, and I just want to say from my standpoint, we have 5 very different personalities on our Board of County Commissioners, 5 strong personalities, which is what you usually find in leaders. But I think we're able to come together at the end of the day and get the business of the county done. I'm willing to listen to any ideas. I'm willing to change my mind. I've done that. But I want to say, too, in reference to Mr. Jones' comment, alcohol is not going to save Washington County. I mean, I'm sorry. Alcohol is not the answer for economic growth in our county. Getting shovel-ready sites where businesses can quickly come in here, offering incentives, getting our commercial corridor completed south of the interstate and on Highway 79, getting a business, because if you look at the demographics of how much different kinds of businesses bring to the county, alcohol and restaurants that serve alcohol is not it.
Thank you, ma'am. And forgive me, this one was just submitted, so forgive me if I stumbled through a little bit.
Don't give me that other one that nobody can answer, okay?
There seems to be a good deal of dissension between areas of the county. How do you feel that issue might be remedied to unite the county as a whole? There seems to be a good deal of dissension between areas of the county. How do you feel that issue might be remedied to unite the county as a whole?
Well, there again, I think it all comes back to getting the community itself together, and committees and forums to find out and talk to the people of this county and let them express their concerns and their views about what this county really needs, and the help it needs, and the help the taxpayers need in this county. And again, one of my passion projects is roads, as I mentioned, and I hope to have a little more time to talk about that in just a little bit.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Joyner, what department in the county needs the most work and why?
That again's a tough question. I think as a whole, the county does have some good departments. I think the annex is pretty much short-handed. It started back when we had the budget deficit. We had to cut some staff, and I think that we need a few more employees there to cover offices there. You've got your road department that I think needs some help down there as far as work plans and projects and leadership down there. But you know, it's developed. The county has developed a few problems over the years with the lack of money.
Thank you, sir.